Hello, everybody. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Hey, that's good. Excellent, excellent. Well, welcome to the meeting. Thank you for joining me this evening. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sensei Romanelli, and I'll be going through some details tonight about our upcoming tournament. I'd love to first start by thanking all of you for volunteering. Without volunteers, we simply would not be able to make such an event like this come to life. So thank you for helping us out and being a part of that. We really, really appreciate it. There's a few things that we're going to focus on this evening, and I'll stop periodically for questions so that you feel confident in everything we're going to go over. One of the things we're going to talk about is some of you volunteering for photography, some of you volunteering for first aid, and then the biggest chunk of the meeting, we're going to spend time talking about timekeeping and scorekeeping for the tournament coming up and coordinating, which means that you're basically in charge of the competitors and facilitating the ring, okay? Again, thank you for being a part of this. We really, really appreciate it. Just by a show of hands, who's done this before? Great, excellent. Well, thank you again for helping out. Again, we really appreciate that. And who's the first timer out there? Good. And those of you with the blank screen, we're going to assume you're a first timer too. All right. So, but no, thank you. We really appreciate it. It's a wonderful opportunity to learn because it's a blend of those that have done it and haven't, and we all work together to spread the leadership on it. So that's fantastic. As I go through again, I'll pause for some questions and give you a chance to speak up. And at that point, feel free to unmute and speak up. I appreciate you staying muted during the meeting. Other than that, just so you can hear me better. But I'm going to start with a topic that I hope we don't need at all, which is first aid. Okay. We have a few people on our list potentially to help us out with first aid. And what we did was we tried to spread the love on the schedule a little bit. And based on what you selected on your application form, assigned you a task in a time that would hopefully be feasible for everybody. So I'm going to go through the first aid and the photography real quick, because once I do that, I won't need you guys anymore on the meeting tonight unless you want to stay and listen to the rest. So for first aid, for the first segment of the day, which is 9 to noon, we have Annalise Prang down for that first aid slot. And then from 11:30 to 2:30, I have Tanya Pansky down for that slot. Okay. And then from 2 to 5, I have Matt Prang. And from 3 to 6, I have Laura O. Okay, again, I hope we don't need you at all. I hope that you're really bored because we don't have any injuries or anything that happens. But I appreciate you being there. We definitely want to have somebody there that can handle that. I know that some of you will be there for more of the day than that, but we would like for that to be your designated time to start. Okay, so that's what I have down as my first aid staff. And any questions on that from the first aid people? We just ask that you be there, be present. We will have ice packs and things like that. If there's anything that you feel like that you want to have in case you need to do that job and you want to bring, by all means, feel free. We'll have the basic stuff there for first aid too, though. Okay. Any questions? I'll pause for a second just on that, and we'll get to some more things. Okay, wonderful. I am recording this meeting, so technology willing, we'll make it available to you if you do need to refer back to it. The second topic tonight is going to be photography. And there's really two ideas of photography. One is when we have students placed in the tournament, they're going to go over to a designated area and they're going to get pictures taken for first, second, and third. We did this at our last tournament for those of you that were there. It was really successful. Everybody really seemed to enjoy it. And so we have that. The other thing is I'm going to have a few cameras available just to take pictures of the group as they're competing, just to walk the floor and do that. And so if you're in a photography job and someone's taking pictures up front, that's a great job for you to do. And so what I did for photography was I made sure we had 2 photographers for each time slot. So for the mornings from 9 to noon, we have Monique Abshire. And I was going to have you walk the floor for photos, and then Matt Prang at the photo station with the winners. Okay. And Matt, I was going to have you do that for the first 2 time slots from 9 to noon, and then 11:30 to 2:30. And then also from 11:30 to 2:30, I was hoping to have Jeremy Pansky walk the floor and take some pictures of the actual competition. All right. And then from 2 to 5, have Annalise praying on the photo station and John Coleman on walking the floor. And have that same group if needed later on in the day from the 3 to 6 slot. Right now, we're slated to finish up by around 5 o'clock, I think, ish. Okay. But if we need you a little bit longer than that, that's what we have slated for. Okay. So again, Monique, Matt, Jeremy, Annalise, and John. Again, having one of you at the photo station and then a few of you on the floor taking pictures will be super helpful. I'm going to have a few iPhones there that I'll have just for taking pictures on the floor. If you have a special camera that you like to use and you want to bring it, that's fine. I just ask that you give the chip to me by the end of the day. I could steal the pictures off of it and then I can give the chip right back to you. And I can do it right on my computer there on site. Okay. Just because we want to post all the pictures as soon as we can, let everybody see how they did. So, all right. Any questions about photography or first aid at all? Okay, thank you for those of you that have volunteered to do that. It is a big help. And whenever one of our black belts has to step out and take pictures, they can't judge and help the tournament in a better way for them. So we appreciate that. I'll pause for a second. That are going to be involved in time and score and coordinating. That's what the rest of this meeting is going to be focused on. If you're doing photography and first aid and you want to stick around and listen in on that in case we need the help, that'd be great. But if not, you can definitely log off at this time. And we do have a nice staff of volunteers, but there are some slots here or there we might be a little thin. And so those of you that are volunteering for one thing, we may ask you to do some different things, and we appreciate you being flexible. All right. Your instructors, if you haven't already gotten it, they all have access to one of these packets. Okay. This is just a time and scorekeeping guideline packet. And that's what I'm going to go over right now. If you need one, just see your instructor and they have access to that. Each of you as volunteers should have one of our shirts too. It's the same shirt that we used last time. We're trying to keep kind of the volunteer uniform going for our tournaments for a while here. And so we have a black shirt with the gold printing on it. If you have one from last time and it's in good shape, you can wear that again. If you need a new one, we have no problem supplying you with another one. Again, your instructors should have those. And if not, they have the means to get them. Okay. So make sure you have a shirt so you look like you're part of the team, because you are part of the team. When it comes to time and score, there's really two things we have to talk about. There's the kata, the individual performances, and then there's the sparring, the competitive point scoring performances. So when it comes to scoring kata weapons, or what we call team kata, there's two people. One responsible for calling up the competitors and one for recording the scores. And adding up the, I'm sorry, I'll say that again. I was interrupted. One's responsible for calling up the competitors and recording the scores, and one's responsible for adding up those scores. We do ask that you use a calculator when adding up the score so that there's no possibility for human error, okay? The first thing to do is to call up a competitor and also call up who's on deck to go next. This will keep everything moving smoothly. So there'll be a division sheet, and typically either the coordinator or maybe the time and scorekeeper will have to call up who's up and who's on deck. After the competitor performs, they'll be scored by all 5 judges. One person will record those scores under the appropriate columns on the sheet, and there'll be a junior black belt that'll stand up and call those scores. So they'll say 7.1, 7.2, 7.3. And as they do that, you simply want to record those scores on the sheet. There's a nice chart to do that. After the first person records the scores, the second person will determine the total score using the calculator. To calculate the total score, you always drop the high and the low score, and the middle 3 scores are added together. Okay, so let's say I have 5 scores. I have an 8, and I have a 6, a 6, a 6, and I have a 5. I would drop the 8 and the 5, and I would add the 3 6s together to get a total score. Does that make sense, everybody? All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. This just helps give each competitor a good average score for all the judges that are out there helping us out. This should be done as each competitor performs. So as each one performs, you want to get their total score. They're not going to be announced or anything, but you want to have them on the sheet ready to go for the center judge. After all the competitors perform, you're going to find the top 3 total scores and assign them a first, second, and third place on the form. And you just write a 1, 2, or 3 appropriately. Okay. We're going to go over some ties and some details next, but any major questions about the broad strokes of that? Okay. And again, if you have a question, just unmute and speak up. There's a lot of you, so I might not see the notifications on here. In the case of a tie, both competitors' highest scores of the KEP 3 scores are going to be compared. So in other words, we're only going to be looking at the 3 scores that we already have, not the highs and lows that we dropped. We compare the 2 high scores and we see if one's higher than the other. If one's higher than the other, we can break that tie with that. If they're the same, then I have to look at the next 2 scores and compare those. If I have a distinction, I can break the tie. If I don't have a distinction, I'm definitely not going to have a distinction on the 3rd set, and therefore they have to perform again. But hopefully we can break that tie before that. So we compare the highest of the scores and then the middle of the scores, and then if not, we have to have them perform again. If they have to perform again, we just rewrite their name in a blank column on the sheet and rescore them. They'll come up and perform again. Okay, that's how we handle the ties. So we compare those 3 KEP scores or they perform again. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay. In the past, we have had some other ways of doing it. And this is the way that we have nominated to do most recently. So if anybody tells you differently, just get my attention and I'll be happy to help you. Okay, make sure that we're all on the same page, because we do want to make sure we're consistent. It's really important that not just in a ring, but as a tournament, everything's being done consistently. Okay, any questions about the ties? Division's over. Just keep all the forms right there at the table, and one of our head coordinators will come around and collect. Those of you that know Mr. Chris Brown, he'll be assisting us. It's actually his birthday on Saturday. He's going to be assisting us. And Mr. Kyle Faw will be out there assisting as well. And then I'll be at the table and be there, of course, to help you with whatever you need. Okay. That's what we'll be doing for our kata, our weapons, and our team kata performances. Any questions about any of that before we go to sparring? Okay.
Sir?
Yes.
This is Tina Gazinski. My question is, will we have like something that we can refer to in writing with us?
Typically, I always have on site one of these packets. Okay. The other thing that we do at each ring is we have a coordinator there that's in charge of the ring. Now, the coordinator has done your job before. Okay. And so truthfully, they're going to be your best resource. So when you have a question, just check with your coordinator. And believe me, once you do 1 or 2 of these, it's going to be smooth sailing. It's really, really simple. Okay. But the coordinator is there to troubleshoot and make sure you guys are comfortable. So, and then I always have one of these on site for myself, but I can definitely bring some extras. And honestly, hopefully, you guys already have one. And if you don't, you definitely have access to it. Get one for yourself and your instructor. That way you've got it. And I'm literally reading off of that right now to make sure I don't miss anything. So I find that to be really helpful. Okay, does that help a little bit?
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure, my pleasure. Any other questions on that first part? Okay. The next part of this would be the sparring section. Again, 2 people on the team. And I'll be honest, we've done all these things with less than 2 people if we have to, but having 2 people, again, kind of helps. And we try to make sure that we get some experience out there to help those that are new. One's going to be responsible for keeping track of the score. The other one's going to keep track of the time. You're going to call up the two people on the bracket that are first and announce them red and white. So on the bracket, they're labeled red and white. In the bracket that I gave you in your packet, Clark Kent is red, Bruce Wayne is white. They're our first two competitors. I can even call up the next two that are on deck, John Jones and Peter Parker on deck. That way everything will run nice and smooth. As the match begins, the timekeeper will have the stopwatch. You want to make sure you keep the stopwatch going continuously unless the center judge turns to you and says, stop time. Each match will be 2 minutes unless the center judge mentions otherwise. So 2 minutes. If the time runs out, the timekeeper lightly tosses the beanbag into the center of the ring and yells time. As the match runs, you just want to record the points in the appropriate boxes on the sheet for each competitor. Keep a careful eye on the match just in case a judge does make a mistake and announces a penalty for a competitor. So on the sheet, there's little boxes where you can keep track of points. Okay, most of our matches are going to be 2 half points, adding up to 1 point, adding up to a winner. Our black belt divisions will be a 4 half point, 2 full point structure. So just utilize the form to keep track of the points. The center judge will do that too, and that way you can double check each other. If there's a penalty, the center judge may turn to you and say -1 point, or 1 half point, then you would subtract one of those half points. There is a rare occasion where there won't be a half point awarded or penalized, but it might be a full point, and they'll make that very clear to you. 1 full point, or in Japanese, we call it an ippon, but they'll use English too to make. As a person wins a match, they're moved to the right in the bracket. Keep in mind that someone that loses a match could spar again if they're up for like a 3rd or a 4th place position in the tournament. So the brackets are set up from left to right. So you're going to follow this whole column of competitors against each other. They're all organized in a little tree. And then you move to the next column and the next column, and it trickles down to a first place winner. I'll show you a little sample. You can see it on your screen. Okay. And again, this is all in our packet, and you're going to have this right in front of you at the tournament. If a division has 3 people in it, it'll be run using a modified round robin style rather than our standard system. This means that the first 2 competitors will spar, and then that winner will spar the 3rd person. If the 3rd person wins, then the division's over because we have 3 very clearly designated places of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But if the 3rd person loses, then the 3rd person, must spar the person who lost the first match to determine who would win out of those 2. And so the goal is to have 3 clearly defined places. We don't have a lot of 3-person divisions, but if we get to one of those and you're not sure, just ask your coordinator. And if they need help, they'll ask one of us to assist. All right. But A spars B, A wins, and spars C. If C wins, then we know that if C can beat A, C could probably also beat B, and we got our places won. But if A and B spar and A wins, and A and C spar and A wins again, we don't know who would win with B and C. So we got to let them spar and make that fair. Okay, everybody? Does that make sense? Questions? Please go ahead.
Sensei,
Yes,
I do apologize, but this is where I need to leave.
absolutely. So Ms. Comerford, thank you for chiming in there. I down
Sensei.
for 1 second, Rex. Let me just answer her question.
Right.
Okay. Ring 1. And I had you down for the later part of the day, Mrs. Comerford, from 2 to 6.
Okay,
Okay, I think that's what well, actually, I think you said you were available for the whole day, so I put you down for the latter part, if that's okay with you.
that's fine.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. If you have any questions, let me know. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
You got it. You got it. Rex, I'm sorry. Go
Okay.
ahead.
That's okay. I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're fine.
There's never a chance for a 4-minute match. They're always 2-minute matches, right? Even when you're at a black belt level, you might have 4 points, but it's still only 2 minutes, right?
You know, that's a really good question. And I'm going to,
Because I think there was a confusion at the last one, and that's why I just
Yeah.
want to clarify it.
that's a very good question. And to make sure that I read it right off of the rule. Looking it up for you right now. Sometimes when you have too much technology going on simultaneously, it can be tough. Yes, you are correct. So Rex, there will be no. Sorry, I'm just trying to get you guys back so I can see you. There we go. All right. There will be no 4-minute matches. Okay. Every match is 2 minutes. And I'm glad you asked that because I know that was a point last time and I wanted to confirm it myself. So yes, every match is 2 minutes. We don't want 4-minute matches.
Right.
Okay. Requires too much coffee. All right. So that's what we need. That's what we need. 2 minutes. Okay. And after all the matches are over, you're going to assign them the first, second, and third places. Now, on a sparring sheet at the top, there's boxes for that. Third, second, and first. Just remember that they're in that order. Third, second, and first. So you want to make sure, second's never an issue, but you want to make sure you get first and third in the right spot. Okay, that's important. That's important. If you notice a mistake, let them know right then and there, because the sooner we know, the sooner we can fix it, and the less devastating of a mistake it will be. Okay, we're all human beings. It happens. It happens. All right. Keep all the forms at the table, and one of our coordinators will be around to either collect them or bring them up front. Okay. I'm going to go through some details, but before I do, any questions about the general scoring of the sparring? Okay. One of the things I'll mention before we start assigning some details here is this tournament, like our last, will be using the custom medals as the awards again this year. Okay. So there are gold, silver, and bronze medals that have our crest on them that'll be awarded for the first, second, and third places. There will be a bunch of them at each station for the rings. Okay. You'll find those right there. We will have smaller medals for participation that we'll hand out to any belt level below brown belt. Okay. So those that get a first, second, third will earn the first, second, third. Those that don't will earn a participation medal. And they'll have a black lanyard and they're a smaller medal. And those will also be distributed at the table. But a brown belt and up won't have those medals as a part of their performance. Okay. If the division is mixed and there's lower belts with the brown belts, for example, then you can do the medals. Okay. In our tournament, we'll have kata performances for all the different age levels. We'll have weapons for all the different age levels, which is scored the same as the kata. We'll have team kata for black belts. We have 2 team kata black belt divisions where they'll perform as a team. But again, everything you do is the same. Okay. For sparring, we'll have the sparring where they hit each other. Okay. We'll have that. And then our little dragons will have what we call flag sparring, where they compete for the flag. Again, the scoring of that is the same. It's actually even easier because you can see how many flags they have by looking at them, okay? The only difference is, from a coordinating standpoint, is we're going to have headgears there for those kids. We're going to have some supplies there to wipe the headgears out, paper towel, wipes, things of that nature. We are also going to have the the flags for the flag sparring, I'm sorry, there as well. So it's just a little bit of logistics as far as getting that prepped and ready. Sensei Davis, who controls all of our score callers and junior black belt assistants, will make sure we have extra assistants to help with that stuff. And any of you guys that are free, that aren't doing anything, that want to help out, it's always great to have help during those little dragon times, because those are the youngest students and can require the most attention. I'm sure your coordinators will greatly appreciate it. Okay. Any questions about any of those divisions and how they work at all? Okay. What I went ahead and did is pre-schedule everybody for a certain ring at a certain time to the best of my ability. All right. I know some of you said that you'd be there for more than what I selected you for. And, you know, we always have cancellations. We always have changes. And so we appreciate you being able to be there for whatever you can be there for. A lot of times we call for assistance, especially towards the end of the day when we need some help out there. But here's what I have so far. The first position I'll announce are the coordinating positions. Okay. Now on the team, I have what I call some of my legacy coordinators that have done this with me several times. And we are definitely going to be using some of you out there. And I don't have you specifically scheduled for the whole day, but it might be good for you to check in if you're going to be there with your table, just so that if there's somebody new out there, you can give them some assistance and some help. But when you're a coordinator, your job is really to have that division form. There's 2 copies of each form, one for the coordinator to look at and one for the time and scorekeepers to use, just so you have a copy of the list and you can organize the competitors. So when we send the competitors to the ring, the coordinator's job is to get them in order, get them organized, and get them ready to go out there and compete based on the sheet. Okay. Typically, we'll have one division there and maybe 1 or 2 on deck so that the day can keep moving pretty smoothly. So here's what I had for coordinators this time. I organized everybody by the half of the day. So from like 9 to about 2:30 and then from 2 to about 6-ish. So in the first half of the day, ring 1, I had Tina Gazinski. In ring 2, Kristen Darga. In ring 3, Larry Koenig. In ring 4, Brittany McGinnis. In ring 5, Angela Baravecchia. And in ring 6, Dina Patterson. And again, that's the first half of the day when we first start from about 9 till about 2:30. Okay. The second half of the day.
Excuse me, Sensei. Am I also in ring 6 with Angela, or am I in ring 1? It's Dina.
Yep, Dina, I hear you. I have you in ring 6.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Angela ring 5, Dina ring 6. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Okay. And then the second half of the day, ring 1, Michelle Ambrosio. Michelle, did you get the text today? You did? Okay, cool. I put your home number in by accident. I realized that after I looked at last night. So see, I told you, technology. All right. And then I fixed it last night. Ring 2, Kathy Cameron. Ring 3, Michelle Aiello. Ring 4, Cynthia Turner. Ring 5, Jody McNamara. And ring 6, Mike Ambrosio. All right. So again, I was hoping to have those of you that I called being responsible for those rings. The rings are all marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To be responsible for that part of the day for manning the ring. Now, honestly, each ring has a couple coordinators. If you guys touch base and you're going to be there all day and you want to take turns or you want to work for a half hour and switch, it doesn't matter to me as long as we know the ring is covered. Okay, so feel free to get to know your other person and make the best of the day. But we appreciate the help; it makes a huge difference. All right. Any questions about the coordinating positions? All right. Coordinators, I'm going to remind you of a few things. You have medals there. You're responsible for kind of getting those together. You have all the gear for flag sparring. We may put some additional gear under the table just because last time we had trouble just kind of putting it all on the table. So we might keep the flag sparring gear underneath just to keep it a little cleaner looking. So if you're missing stuff, look under there. We had a bunch of extra gear that we didn't put out last time, and in hindsight, we wish we would have. So this time we'll probably do that. Okay. And I also want to remind everybody that we have this year, as we did previously this year, we have very specific arrival times for the different age levels. Okay. So what that means is, there's an official start to the tournament, but there's never a time where everybody's there. Right. And so when we start at 9 o'clock, we're gonna make a quick announcement of good morning, everybody. Those of you that are helping us out this morning, please head to your rings. Judges, head to your rings. Coordinators, please get your first division together. The center judge is going to wait till everybody's ready. They're going to raise their hand in their chair. And once everybody's seated and I have 6 center judges with their hands in the air, we're going to bow in and we're going to start. And so it's a very quick start because we're able to facilitate that because of meetings like this. Okay. So that's why we're having the meeting now. So coordinators just know that we're going to go. If you weren't with us last time, we're going to go, we're going to move. Okay. Next will be time and scorekeepers. And again, we assigned you by rings for different time slots of the day. So I will go through each time slot and then mention the people and the ring number. Okay. So I have from 9 to noon. Everyone announces 9 to noon. I have Annie Hilbert, ring 4. Allie Shope, ring 1. Joe Darger, ring 2. Daniel Webster, ring 1. Rachel Steerser, ring 6. Brian Webster, ring 2. Ray John, ring 5. Jamie P., ring 5. Lisa Ross, ring 3. Erica Harris, ring 6. Jennifer Rude, ring 4. Donna Shane, ring 3. And again, that was all that 9 to noon time slot. 11:30 to 2:30. Notice there's a little overlap just so we have everybody covered. Chris Fox, ring 6. Annie Hilbert, ring 4. Paul Fugate, ring 5. Carol Varden, ring 4. Allie Shope, ring 1. Joe Darga, ring 2. Eric Dufresne, ring 1. Katie Dandron, ring 6. Candace Kohut, ring 5. Lisa Ross, ring 3. Christopher Abshire, ring 2. Ava Gomez, ring 3. Our next time slot will be the 2 to 5. Hope Comerford, ring 1. Christina Crandall, ring 1. Elizabeth Gulp, ring 5. Ali O, ring 6. Melissa Whipple, ring 3. Ryan Mox, ring 2. Dennis White, ring 2. Renee White, ring 5. Alyssa McKinney, ring 3. Sarah Mueller and Rich Mueller, ring 4. Jared Schumacher, ring 6. And then for our last section of the day, 3 to 6, Hope Comerford, ring 1. Christina Crandall, ring 1. Ali O, ring 6. Melissa Whipple, ring 3. Ryan Mox, ring 2. Dennis White, ring 2. Renee White, ring 5. Jared Schumacher, ring 6. I will mention at that latter part of the day, as of this list, we are short a couple. I know there's a few of you that might be on the meeting that I didn't have on my official list. So if any of you are out there now and want to make yourself available, I can tell you where we need the most help. Is there anybody out there that I didn't call that wants an assignment?
Yeah, you didn't call me. Rex.
All right,
I'm sorry.
me. No, I know it. I can see you, Rex. I'm just giving you a hard time.
That's fine. I can
No,
handle it.
I had you in my notes, but I wasn't 110% sure if you were going to be a part of the team, so I prepared. But actually, Rex, the latter part of the day would be great if you could be a part of that.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay. If you're available for more, that's fine. But I know definitely the latter part of the day, when we get into ring 4, could definitely use somebody. Okay. So if you're available to do that, that would be super helpful. Is there anybody else that I did not call? Other than coordinators?
This is Tana Gazinski. Ollie O, he's my son. He just got his first job and they've assigned him to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So he needs to back out, but I can stand in for him after 2:30.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. If you're able to do ring 6, that would be great. And Rex, if you want to be on standby for ring 6 too, that would be awesome. So ring 4 or 6, I think would be a good place to keep yourself floating around. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. And thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so I'll be there if you need me there earlier, because I tend to be there. Yeah, I know
Yes.
I'm already there, but
Yeah. So I know some of you, you said you'd be there all day and I have it on my list. And then I just picked the half of the day that I knew I needed you the most. Okay. It doesn't mean that that you might not be needed for other parts of the day. But one of my goals is to give every single one of you that volunteered a chance to do something. So you can all get a chance to learn and build skills and confidence with this and get some experience out there and be a joy to the spirit of what we're doing. So that's all. But no, thank you for making yourself available, Dennis. I do appreciate it. And all of you that have. Thank you. Thank you again. Any other?
Sensei?
Yes.
Yes. I think I was a little bit confused. I thought the text that I got said that, like, unless we contact you individually, and at my son's karate this week, they said if you didn't get an individualized text that you're not needed, but they said you could still be on the call tonight just in case. And then I briefly heard my name. So I apologize, but I missed it. I think I heard Rachel Sturzer, and I just don't know which ring it was.
No problem, Rachel. And thank you for speaking up. I understand what you're talking about. That part of the text was geared towards people that volunteered for cleanup or greeting or setup. Okay. And so what we had a lot of people that volunteered for that. And we had more than enough for that. And so we didn't want to make everybody come. Right. But we do need people for the time and score and other jobs. And if you're available to do that, I had you down for ring 6 for the first part of the day. So if you're available to do that, I had you down from 9 to noon in ring 6. Is that still doable for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. That would be a great help. So yes, the only thing that we mentioned we didn't need help anymore for was for setup and tear down, because we have a pretty good team assembled for that at this time, unless we reached out to you personally and said, hey, we need you. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Which again, we appreciate, absolutely. And we appreciate all of you that volunteer to do that, because it's always better to have more than enough than not enough. And it makes a huge difference. And you guys have done this before. No, when you're the only one out there, it's a workout. If you have help, it's great. So, okay. Anything else? Anybody else I missed out there? I promise it wasn't on purpose if I missed you. Okay.
Sensei, if you need for the latter part of the day, I will be available. I can stay. And also Hayden should be done by like 11. So, I mean, she could jump in and help, time and score keep also.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Thank you. Yeah. That
and
would be
we have
good.
2 shirts now too. So,
All right. Well, no, that's great. And, sometimes too, what happens is typically we have our junior black belts out there calling scores. At the very end of the day, all the black belts perform. And so sometimes finding people to do some of those jobs can be a challenge. So even having a a brown belt with confidence, get up there and do the score calling or keeping track of the score. Any of that stuff would be great. So yeah, that would be, I'm not going to tell anybody to go home. I'm not going to make you stay. But if you're
Of course,
there,
no.
but if you're there, we'd love to have you. And truthfully, it's great to watch the end of the day when all the black belts perform. So I'm very excited about our team concert performances this year. We have a real big cluster starting off the black belt divisions with that. So it should be fun. So, no, thank you for offering that. And it helps because we definitely get surprises of who we thought was going to be there. And then those that aren't at the last minute for whatever reason, nobody's fault, but these things happen. Speaking of which, at check-in, those of you that are with me still, we have Kina Romanelli, Darlene Wasselina, and Franga Van Ash helping us out at check-in this time around, I believe. And any questions about the check-in? All right. Now, just to go over the check-in process for everybody's benefit, everybody should have a wristband, okay? I'm going to have a wristband, okay? So everybody should have a wristband. Make sure that you've gotten a wristband from your instructor because you should not have to pay for a wristband because you're helping us out at the tournament, okay? We're also working with the university this time to hopefully, they run all the concessions for the tournament. We're trying to have it set up where we can get you guys some vouchers or something where you can get some water and not have to pay for it. We'll take care of it ourselves for you guys. We're not allowed to bring anything in ourselves because they're supposed to do all the concessions. So we're trying to work around that a little bit. I'm hoping we'll be able to figure something out for you guys so you have access to that. We really do appreciate you volunteering and helping us out. Okay. Make sure you have a wristband for the check-in process, ladies. What's going to happen is, if there's basically, when we walk into that arena, a big banner says, if you have a wristband, go this way. If you don't, go this way. Or maybe it's the opposite, but either way. And if you have a wristband, one of you just has to stand there and say, show me your wristband, go on in, have fun, be happy. Okay. All the paperwork, all the programs, all that stuff is going to be after they walk into the main arena. That way it doesn't bog you down. People can get through the check-in really fast. So if they're looking for a program, if they're looking for a ring list or any of that stuff, it's all going to be as they first walk into the arena. There's going to be QR codes they can get with their phone to get electronic copies of all that right next to the hard copies of the paperwork. Okay. So just feel free to steer them in the right direction. Those of you that have volunteer shirts on, you might get asked some questions. So it's good to at least look at that stuff yourself, be a little bit familiar with it. Many of you have been at these tournaments over the years. You know how some of these things work. There's always some updates. There's always things we do to try to improve things. Okay. So I just ask that you, do what you can to be informed and to be a part of it. Nothing's worse than not knowing what's going on. Okay. And the other line will be to get a wristband, basically, which means they don't have one. They have to purchase one. Every competitor should have a wristband. Every volunteer should have a wristband. Every person in that building should have a wristband one way or the other. And if you get it ahead of time, it's way easier. Okay. And, I do want to mention to all of you, we have a new Facebook page for the tournament. So if you are on Facebook, you can search for the MFIT, MFIT, space Michigan Friendship Invitational Tournament. And you should be able to find that page on Facebook. And we're going to utilize that page. Actually, we posted all the pictures from our last tournament on there. And we will be posting actually the different meetings and the different links to the meetings. And later on tonight, I'll record the official opening of our tournament and I'll make that available for everybody. Any of our announcements, paperwork, all that stuff will be right there. And so it'll be at everybody's fingertips that way as well. So, okay. So those of you that maybe weren't there for the last tournament, but have been with us for several others, we did do some updates in the last tournament. So welcome to the new level. All right. Any questions on anything I talked about tonight? Mr. Fox.
I said one question. For our volunteer shirts from here going forward, will we just basically keep them the same color and so forth?
Yeah, so what we're trying to do is create a little more of a uniform for the volunteers. And so at least until we see those shirts are getting a little wore out, right. we're gonna utilize the same shirt for a while. We're trying to do it based on the organizational color. So it's just a consistent black and gold shirt. Okay. And the shirt says volunteer on it too. So that way, one of the issues we had in the past was when the tournament shirt and the volunteer shirt were the same, no one knew who they could ask questions to. The idea of having a volunteer shirt that's different was everybody knew specifically who's a volunteer. And really, the only people on the floor should be the competitors, the judges, and the volunteers, right? And so we want to make sure it's very easy for us to know who those people are. It's very easy for everybody else to know who those people are. So yes, the plan is to keep the shirt the same. However, if you need a new shirt, yours wears out or you lose it or something, we have no problem providing you with another shirt. It's all just about uniformity and consistency more than anything else.
I felt
Okay?
bad about taking another shirt because I'm thinking I don't need another shirt. I still got the one from the last one.
Yeah, you could, it's the same shirt, so you could definitely use that shirt, but if you end up needing one, we can get you one. So, okay,
All right, thank you.
yeah. Other questions?
Sensei, I was driving, sorry, but did you call me out to check in with?
Yes, I had you down for helping with the check-in, is that right?
That's what I thought I heard it, but again, I was driving, the volume kind of
Yeah,
played games with me. Okay,
got it. But yes, I had you down for check-in. From what I understand, you have a little bit of a limited schedule, so I thought that might be best. And, but you know, if you guys are out there and you feel like, you have one too many people out there, I could definitely find something else for you guys to do. It's not a problem. Okay, but
whatever
no,
you need.
the check-in would be great. So
Okay,
we
thanks.
need someone who likes iPads out there, and I heard you were the person, Mrs. Van Ash. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And just as FYI, those of you doing the check-in, we will have any extra T-shirts out there, mouth guards out there for sale too, for anybody who needs those as well. If any of you get asked where they can get that stuff, that'll all be up at that front table at check-in, okay? And I think that pretty much covers it. Any other questions?
Hey, Sensei, Joe Darga here.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what time you want us there in the morning?
Doors are gonna open at 8. Tournament will start at 9 o'clock sharp. We'll probably start calling for that first division around 8:55, get everybody get settled in. We're hoping to start right around 9, okay? You can get there whenever you need to get there to be ready for all that, okay?
Awesome. Okay.
I haven't driven out there in a while. I don't know what kind of construction we're looking at. I always get there super early, but I recommend all of you do that because as you know right now, there's a whole lot of that going on. And this is a Saturday. This is not a Sunday. So let's keep in it. And by the way, make that note, everybody. This is a Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
If you come on Sunday, you're going to be able to pick your parking spot. Okay. You can do it anytime you want. So, all
So
right.
the wristbands and the shirts are all at my dojo then, right? Pick them up. there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
Awesome.
We actually delivered them. So I know that they're there. Okay. And
Good
so
enough.
all the senseis should have that, and if you need it, just ask them. And if they need something, we have it here that we can get that for you. Okay.
Awesome.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
I'll have some extra stuff on site if we have an emergency, but hopefully all the senseis should have everything they need. All right. Great. Any other questions?
One
Sensei?
fun. Go ahead.
I'll start with Jen.
Hi, you have me down in ring 4 from 9 to 12, which is perfectly fine. I just wanted you to know, I know you said ring 4 was going to be possibly lacking later in the day. I will be around the majority of the day. So if you need me back out there in ring 4, I'm happy to do it.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my, I'm trying to find you on my list here.
9 to 12 in ring 4, Jen. Oh, I'm sorry. It's going to be Jen Rude, not Pisha.
Got
Sorry.
it. No wonder I couldn't find it. No, that's fine.
Yes.
Great. No, that's good because yes, I think I had you down for that one time slot, but if you're able to hang around at least for a little bit longer, that would be awesome. So
Yeah, I have two boys competing, so I'll be
Okay.
there pretty much all day. One's a black belt, so I'll be there all
Yeah.
day.
Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate that. And the only thing I would ask everybody is, I know sometimes when we're sitting there, we kind of get into a groove. And if we need you there, by all means, please stay in your groove. But if there's somebody else that can volunteer and do it, yeah, I want to make sure everybody gets a chance, because the last thing somebody wants to do is come there to do something and then never get used, right? And so we want to make sure everybody gets a chance. And believe me, there's always those moments where we really need people. And the more educated people we have, the better when those moments come. So it makes my job up there 100 times easier if the floor is well covered. So, okay. But thank you for offering again. Really do appreciate it. Anything else? There was another question somewhere.
Yeah, sorry, Sensei. I just had one quick thing, kind of going off of Chris's thing with the volunteer shirts. If we don't need a volunteer shirt, what's the possibility of getting one of the red ones?
You'd have to sell a firstborn or something.
Okay.
No,
checking.
actually, we will have. I do have a few extras depending on the sizes that I'll be bringing with me. Okay. At the tournament. So if you're interested, you can see us there, and we can. I'm sure. Well, if we have them, we can do it. Some of the sizes we've run out of. I try to order a couple extras because there's always a few mistakes here or there that we have to compensate for. So if by Saturday we have some left, they'll be there. So okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it is a pretty sweet shirt. I won't lie. So. It was funny. We did that shirt last, did a little different color scheme, but we did our shirt last time, and I can't tell you how many people were like, "Man, that shirt was so cool. I really wish I would have got one of those." So whenever we change something, right? So, any other questions?
Sensei,
Oh, yeah.
Sensei, I don't have a question, but I just wanted to point out, I'm not sure who drives Metro Parkway or not, but I found myself driving it the other day, and it was closed by the railroad tracks after Groesbeck. And I know there's a whole ton of traffic, construction everywhere. I just wanted to make mention in case anybody didn't know that, if that's a popular route out there. I just wanted to point it out.
Yeah, no, that is helpful. And I definitely recommend, the day before, at least get your phone out and map that thing and see what it says, and add a half hour to that, because you never know what the traffic will do to it, right? And I know right now for us, literally the main intersection of our school is completely shut down. So we've been in the heat of construction battle over here at our school, and I'm sure some of you are experiencing similar things, but it's all about progress, and we all enjoy it when it's done, but we got to get there, right? So
Sensei,
yes,
just so everyone knows, I drive that route every day to and from work, and I'm at 24 and I-94, and it literally takes me about an hour to hour and 15 minutes every day. So just keep that in mind for anyone who's driving in that area.
Yeah, no, that is great. That's great information, because if none of you are there, it'll make it very hard to start the tournament. so please do it for me. If you could give yourself some extra time, I really would appreciate it. I know I'm getting there early, and we can get this thing off and running. What I will remind everybody is we're going to start our tournament with all of our teen and adult divisions. So those of you that are new at coordinating, some of you I put at the beginning of the day on purpose, because they're the easiest ones to organize and to work with. Okay. And then we go to our little dragons after that. So you go from good learning opportunity to good practice opportunity. And then we get into our 9 and under divisions, and we get into our 10 to 12. And this tournament, we actually have broken those kids up even more. That was the most congested time, was when the youth were there. And so what we did was we split that group in half. So that'll even cut down on the congestion more than last tournament, although it was pretty successful. And then we have all of our black belts at the very end. Okay, so again, if you were there last time, it's similar with a few updates. And if you weren't there last time, it'll be a big update for you for sure. Now, coordinators, you guys have been with me for a long time, many of you. Is there anything that I missed or anything that pops up that you could think of that I should talk about before we give it an official finish tonight?
No, Sensei.
Sensei, remind the time and scorekeepers that the binder is only for coordinators.
Yes, it's the 11th commandment. Thou shall not touch the binder.
The binder, okay, I was asked to say this. So the binder is only for the coordinators. Well, just to let everybody know, at each ring there's a binder, and the binder has all the divisions in it in order. Okay. And so it's the coordinator's job to take things out of that binder. So sometimes we want to be a little more efficient, want to get ready, but there's a copy for them in there. And that whole thing is organized based on the chart and everything of the whole day. So if those things get shuffled up, that can create a setback. Last tournament, we lost some pages somehow. I don't even know how that happened, but and I had to handwrite the division. So, fixable, but it'd be great to not have to do that. So please let the coordinator have it and let them be the one in charge of that binder. That way it's all on them. Okay. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate that. What else?
Sensei.
Yes.
I just want to mention just to have fun, be nice to each other. We're all there, for the same reason and have fun. I don't want to see anyone's feelings hurt or anything. Like sometimes things happen, but we just got to go with the flow and have fun,
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's important.
Again, what is it about? It's about our competitors having a good experience out there. It's really about the different schools coming together and building some camaraderie. The title of the tournament is Friendship for a reason, right? And so we're all coming together to have a good time. It's a chance for you to work with somebody from a different school that you don't get a chance to associate and be with. It's a chance for those students to come together in a different way and foster that growth. And so, yes, absolutely. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. Do mistakes happen? Sure. Be aware of the people you can come to for help on anything. The sooner we get into it, the sooner we can fix it and make it right. 99% of things are super fixable. As long as we know what happened, we can do it. So, get your hands dirty out there, have some fun, and we'll enjoy the experience together. Okay?
Sensei.
Yes, sir.
One more thing. My wife let me know that she was taking Hall Road to 94 to go down to Grosse Pointe schools, but you can get on to 94, but you can't exit off of 94 on the Hall Road.
Yes. 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 That is the heart and soul of my school right now. It's a fantastic experience. so it's yes. There's a lot going on depending on where you're coming from. There's ways around it all, but you got to know for your specific circumstance. So map it out over the next few days. What I have found, at least on the iPhone, is it does a really nice job when you put in the location. Like for me, it tells me how to get to the dojo the way that I should get there based on the construction, right? So I would imagine it would be the same to get to Oakland. So okay. Any other last comments, concerns, questions? All right, everybody. Well, again, thank you for being a part of this. We could not do without you. It makes such a tremendous difference. This tournament is not our smallest by far, but it will be a hair smaller than our last tournament in the spring. Spring tends to be a little bit busier, a little bit bigger. And so we should have no problem keeping things moving really smoothly for everybody. We're looking forward to that. The arena facility worked out so well for us last time. We really look forward to being back there. And we've made some adjustments to that, and we look forward to executing those. So thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. We'll post some additional updates as the next few days progress, and we'll do our official opening tonight and make that available for everybody. And thank you for being a part of it. Really appreciate it, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.